You have tuned in, yes, I know, to the greatest Catholic priest podcast in Payne County, the Pastors of Payne. Yes, the Pastors of Payne here on Pete FM. It's also on Spotify. It's also on iTunes. It goes out on SoundCloud. You can get it at St. Francis Xavier. You can get it online at Facebook pages, Catholic Pokes Twitter, St. Francis Twitter. Boom, this goes out to not only to this planet, but all planets. All planets get a little taste of Payne County. Congratulations, Martians. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, this guy won't stop talking. And that's the reason why I have the freedom just to keep blabbing, is because Father Brian O'Brien is not in the studio.
He is not here.
Whoa. Hey, easy. I repeat, not in the studio. He's out on vacation, and so, priests get vacation too, just like everybody else. And so is our secret guest today. His name is, it's a secret. Let me try it out. P. Scheller. Wait, that's too obvious. Paul S. Paul S., is that correct? Or P. Scheller? Which one do you go by?
Either way. You
really?
Usually call me whatever you want
Well,
anyway,
okay, hey, remember, your name used to be Andy.
That's correct.
Andrew. And why'd you change it?
Well, I joined a monastery.
You joined a monastery? When did this happen? Are you just now telling me now?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so anyway, our guest today is Father Paul Scheller. He's a Benedictine monk, and we'll get on into all that. And he can tell you where he's from. He's going to tell you where, he's not a native of Stillwater, but he went to Stillwater High School. He's not he was a seminarian for the Diocese of Tulsa, and then he betrayed us. So Father Paul Scheller, and most people have never met a monk. Jay probably never met a monk. You walked into the studio and he said, "Whoa, you look real warm," because you got like this hood and this black robe and this thing that hangs down like from your neck down in front of you. Okay, so our listening audience has no idea what a Benedictine monk is. Jay's not Catholic. Jay gets more Catholic stuff than probably any dozen Catholics I know. He listens to a lot of, he probably gets to jibber jabber with priests more often than most Catholics, because he gets an hour a week with us. Tell Jay and the people of not only this planet but also the other galaxies, Andromeda Galaxy, which is my favorite. Tell them, what is a Benedictine monk, and why did you choose that over being a diocesan priest? Because the diocesan priest is the best, by the way.
Great question. Thanks for the intro.
Thank you. It was a very great question. I'm floored by the things I come up with.
We're going in swinging right now.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I'm excited to be with you guys. Long-time listener. First time in the booth here. A lot more of I'm a bigger fan of Father O'Brien, so I'm disappointed he's not here today. But we'll settle. We'll settle for this. It's okay.
Jeez, why am I your friend again?
Yeah, I know. We've been friends since 2002. So when we first went to college seminary together. So 18 years, coming up on 18 years.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you. As Father Kerry said, I'm a Benedictine monk. So Benedictine monks, we want to think of follow the rule and the guide, so to speak, of Saint Benedict. Saint Benedict lived in the 5th century, and he established.
What year is that? I don't know.
It was in the 5th century, so about 480 to 547 or so.
480 to 540.
That's when we're talking.
Dude, this guy is old. He's still alive?
No, he's passed away.
Oh,
but,
dang!
And that's why we canonize him. He's a saint. So in the church,
Saint Benedict of Norcia.
Saint Benedict.
That guy.
You got it. You got it. So 1,500 years ago. So he established this pattern for men and there's also female communities, but men to live together as monks. So in community life, we have a rule that Saint Benedict wrote. Small kind of guide, and also we are under the leadership of an abbot or our spiritual father of the community. So I started off studying to be a diocesan priest, just like you did. Yeah, and that's where we met in seminary. Father Kerry and I met in seminary, and it was during my 3 years at Conception Seminary College. We were both educated by Benedictine monks there that I felt drawn to the monastic community and to religious life. I was pretty content with the idea of being a parish priest, but God had other plans.
I mean, you didn't want to be a real priest. You just wanted to be a
yeah. I just wanted to be hidden in a monastery.
Yeah, when I think of you hidden in a monastery, I don't think of you like
exactly. But it's mainly the way of life is Saint Benedict. I guess he didn't say this, but it's oftentimes described ora et labora. Father Kerry, how's your Latin?
Failed it twice. Greek, Spanish, Greek, Spanish, ace.
I hear you quoting a lot of Greek terminology and stuff on the podcast. So, but yeah, so prayer and work. Our life is kind of established by gathering together in community life for prayer 5 times a day. And then Mass. So the earliest prayer of the day is at 6 a.m. and then the
6 a.m.
Last time of the day is at 7:15.
Are you up before that though?
I am up.
Like when you run out of your room in the monastery, is there fire coming from your feet as you're like
running,
putting all your monastic clothing on?
Brushing my teeth as I run down to church
trying
late.
To get there because the bells are ringing.
Bells are ringing,
and the monks all line up.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool. It was like this march of monks coming in black robes down the aisle.
About a lot of times what people would kind of imagine when they think of monks, it's all fairly accurate, minus the vow of silence. There is no vow of silence. So
there's no vow of silence.
No, I'm not getting in trouble right now. Or anything.
You guys take a promise of stability. Yes. Which diocesan priests
a vow of stability, right?
Vow of stability. Mm-hmm. You take vows, and diocesan priests take promises.
Correct. And so, a vow of stability, of obedience, and then one in Latin again, conversatio morum, can be translated in different ways, but it's kind of like fidelity to the way of life. Or I think of it too as living each day, trying to live it each day better as the day before, like the continual conversion.
Being transformed in Christ.
Exactly. So
this new man, as St. Paul says.
Yeah, and so the way of life attracted me. Initially, it was just the thought of community life, the simplicity of the way of life. I knew that praying together with others, it would always be kind of an encouraging way to continue to stay on the track of giving my life to Christ. And also, I always thought it was kind of like growing up playing sports. It's like being on a team, part of a team, and it's nice that we have a common mission and we're all kind of going that direction together.
Whoa. Okay, so we got the kind of the order, but you live in a monastery. Conception Abbey, the Abbey of the Immaculate Conception, founded in I think the middle 1800s.
1873.
1873 in the middle in Nottoway County.
In the middle of nowhere.
Nottoway County on the intersection of roads A, H, and VV.
Yeah, right there. Right there. Yep.
It's got 3 dirt roads on one side, and what's the highway that's paved right there? Highway
136.
Well, Highway 136.
Yeah, right up northwest Missouri. So we're about 17 miles from civilization, i.e., your nearest Walmart.
Because that's in
Maryville.
Maryville. Yeah. It's Maryville. What's the town that's north where they have the pizza place and the car?
Stanberry.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So the monastery's out rolling hills in northwest Missouri, out in the middle of the country, and farmland around there. We originally the monastery got founded there originally from Switzerland, and the monks came to
Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland. They came.
Why would they move to Missouri from Switzerland?
I know. I've been to
Edelweiss, and it's beautiful because it's beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Because they called the other monastery the Mother House, correct?
Correct.
And the Mother House is where?
In Engelberg, Switzerland.
And where is that? Is that like in a really nasty part of Switzerland? Because when I think of Switzerland, I think of
it's absolutely gorgeous. It's nestled between beautiful mountains in a valley. It's pristine.
Okay, why would they go? Oh, okay. Hey, so guys, gentlemen, I don't know. That's not.
I don't know.
That's not my
Germans.
My German Swiss Austrian accent has been filed away somewhere.
Yeah.
Why did they come out?
So
here?
in the 1800s, they were afraid of the religious persecution, and they were fearing that the monastery actually might be suppressed, and so they a couple of the monks.
What was going on? Do you know?
Right. Kind of technical. I don't know. Just with the government and possible suppression at that time, I'm not too sure, but I know
on your middle 1800s geopolitical climate of Austria, Switzerland.
Right. I should have.
Well, the Hungarian is like
Austrian-Hungarian
Empire was going on at that time, and Yeah.
I'd have to, yeah. So some of the monks felt kind of drawn to establishing a foundation. Obviously, there was need in the United States at that time, very early on, for ministering to the people. And so our founder, Abbot Froen Conrad, came and started the monastery there, was invited, and then very early on also started school for educating his monks.
Okay.
And as he was educating the monks there, the diocese asked them to educate their seminarians to prepare them for priesthood.
That's how it started.
So the seminary was founded officially, I think, 1886, so soon after the beginning of the monastery. And that's why you and I went there for college, to study philosophy and to try to get holy. Obviously didn't work for one of us.
Oh, wow. So, Jerry's still out.
Yeah, we're still praying for you.
Thank you. I need it. All the graces. All the graces. Pray for me.
But, so the community life, we have about 50, 55 monks there, all ages. Our oldest monk has been professed for 80 years in the community, so he's approaching 100.
Who is that?
Father Anthony Scheidler.
Anthony Scheidler?
Yeah. He
do I know him?
You might recognize him, one of the older holy guys, but he wasn't working in the seminary or anything about that time when you were there.
Whoa, he's seen almost everything. I love that age group of people because they went to school on like horse and buggy or horse or mule or walk, so they've seen the airplane, the car, the air conditioning, new homes, cell phones, space travel.
Right.
They've seen satellites fly over. I mean, these people have seen it. 2 world wars, countless things going on around the world.
Right.
And they just stayed the course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Life. Never seemed to waver.
With the challenges after Vatican II and, sometimes their friends leaving, the church and whatnot, just different challenges. But it is, and that's why I like being in a multi-generational community, because to see the inspiring example and the consistency of those who are, have, stayed and lived, persevered through the life, and to see too that when you live the life faithfully, it has an impact, and you can appreciate their wisdom.
Wow, on the junior monks. And even on those kind of...
Exactly.
You're a middle-aged monk now. Do you realize that? 'Cause today's your birthday. We're recording. This is not live.
Right.
But, it's Father Paul Scheller's...
Wait.
39th birthday.
One less.
38th birthday?
You got it.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wanted to treat myself by a 38-mile bike ride today, and I was all set, left before 7 a.m., before the heat came. 8 miles in... broken spoke. So game over there. But yeah, that's one of my hobbies.
That's your way of relaxing around the monastery.
Yeah, it is. I go on those country roads, bike those a lot, and
get chased down by dogs and all sorts of stuff like that.
On occasion.
On occasion, there's like a dirt road and barbed wire and all sorts of stuff.
38. O'Brien looks 20 years older than that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
poor Father O'Brien won't be able to defend himself.
He will not. He can't.
Well, he's on vacation.
Hopefully, he's listening to this. With earplugs in.
He'll listen.
Didn't hear it. Okay, so this is monk life. What? Okay, so we talked about why.
Sure.
There's monasteries all over the world. And are they all the same? Because we have right here in the state of Oklahoma, we have Shawnee, which had a college but now no longer doesn't. There's Clear Creek Monastery. There's Benedictine Monastery in Atchison, Kansas, which is way north of us.
Right.
There's you. There is, I'm trying to think of another Benedictine monastery. There's Carthusians.
Sure.
There are what's the other one?
Cistercian,
Trappist. What's the difference between all of them? Because they all seem to follow the same rule of Saint Benedict, like stability to a monastery.
Right.
They have obedience to their abbot, and then conversion of life.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't take celibacy.
All that would be included. Poverty, chastity, and obedience would be included under obedience. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. It covers them all.
It covers them all.
It covers them all. Yep.
But for diocesan
no getting out. Yeah.
For diocesan priests are like, you better promise this.
Right. They're pretty explicit there.
Simplicity. For diocesan priests, simplicity of life, I think, is more difficult than poverty because you only get what the abbot gives you.
Right.
Like if you need to buy a razor, they either go to the storehouse and look to see if there's a razor blade, or here's $10.
Yeah,
Go
you
buy a
have to
razor.
kind of get used to. It's kind of like when you're having to ask your parents for money when you're a kid. It's the whole thing again. And then the same thing would be with a car. Like even traveling here for this week, having to use an Abbey car, and when I go back, I have to return the keys and write down the mileage. So all of that.
Really? And they give you a gas card?
Yeah, they're right, exactly. So
it's also fun going out to dinner with someone who took a vow of poverty, because you'll go out to dinner and they're like, one check or two, and you look across the table, and I was out with a Franciscan friar buddy of mine from Father Emmanuel from New York City. He looks across, he's like, you always got the bill. I was like, I always got the bill. It's the same way with you.
Yeah, people are pretty generous. And sometimes, too, I didn't know if my brothers found this funny or not, but for their birthday, sometimes I find $1 and I put it in the card and I say, sorry, this vow of poverty is really rough. And I don't know.
I would have given you 1,000 of these, but I only found one.
Is it like a lifetime thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's commitment. So I made a commitment to join the community. There's a trial period. 1 year as a novice.
Yeah, let's give because Jay doesn't know this. Jay's our studio audience here.
Yeah, we'll have call-in questions from Jay.
Okay, so Jay's call-in question is this.
Sure.
You were like looking at Conception Abbey. You're studying there as a student, and you say, I would really like to join. And so what's the process of becoming like a full-fledged, like vowed monk like you are?
Well, first of all, the Diocese of Tulsa was sponsoring me before, so I had to ask permission from them. I would say, I feel that God's calling me to monastic life, but I'm not sure. I want to give it a try. And that's the whole process of prayer and discernment. So also just grateful for the bishop and the vocation director for supporting me for the 3 years.
On behalf of them, you're welcome.
Thank you.
We let you go.
You did.
It was we dodged a bullet there.
Is that why you kicked me on the way out? Yeah.
That was me.
He told me to tuck and roll as they drove by the monastery. So after I graduated from there, I entered as a novice. And I was a novice for 1 year.
And that's like your
real kind of specific time of formation where you're looking at, is this community life for me? And also the community's looking, is this working for him? Does it fit? Does the life fit? So you could even, make it analogous to like engagement or something in marriage, any kind of commitment where you're committed to a certain extent, but you're also looking at and discerning all along, is this for me?
Correct. So what do you learn as a novice? I mean, do you just like go in there and learn how to scrub floors?
As a novice, we go through the rule of St. Benedict. So
and there's a novice master.
Right.
What's his name?
Well, right now it's Father Xavier.
Is it really? Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's the best.
Yes, he's
Father Xavier.
He is going strong at 83 years old. You wouldn't imagine.
Is incredible. He's like,
tell him the story about when you went down that railing for the soccer field.
He's 80. How old is he now?
He's 83. So he was, 18 years ago, 65 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's a steep embankment that goes down the back of the monastery where the seminary is down to the soccer field. And it's probably 25 yards. And it's got a metal pole for a handrail going down the stairwell, following the parallel path of the stairwell. And Father Xavier and I were at the top of it, and I was like, come on, Father Xavier, follow me. And I slid down this rail. And it's like 4 or 5 seconds. You're just like, shh. Boom. I plant my feet at the bottom, and I turn around, and he's sliding down the handrail. And I catch him. So I caught him on the way down. He was also, this is how funny. Because he was born, how old? He's 80.
He's 83 right now. He just turned
so that means he was born
1937.
1937.
Yeah.
So I had this conversation with him, and I said, Father Xavier, your Buddy Holly style glasses are coming back in style. And he said, who's Buddy Holly? I was like, yes, you have been in a monastery for all of your life.
And of the people that buy in 100%, he is all in. I mean, some stuff, it's funny what he's just not familiar with. But
okay, so he's your novice master.
Yeah, he's the novice master. And
so what do you learn as a novice?
As novice,
paint the floor.
In certain way, it is being exposed to a variety of work. But the thing with as a novice is from day one, you live pretty much the full life of the monastery in, with all the seniors. So those who have been there for 50, 60 years, you're living the same prayer schedule. You're, eating meals with them. And then work, they try to give you a variety of work. So it's work that's not too burdensome. So it could be cleaning toilets or, hauling the mail or something, or just mowing lawns. But it's not.
They don't want to scare you off,
right? They don't. Well, it don't want to be too burdensome, so it doesn't keep you up at night. And then as you progress, they introduce more responsibility.
Okay.
So the neat thing is, at the end of the year, and during that time with the discernment, you can petition to make vows. And when you make first vows, which I made in August the 15th, 2006, that's when you get a new name. So
okay, so you enter in. Everybody enters in around the world. Benedictine's August 15th, the Solemnity of the Assumption.
That's our special time.
Oh, because the Immaculate Conception of Mary.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Because we're big on Marian feasts. So the Feast of the Assumption, or the Solemnity of the Assumption. So during that time, and it's always kind of a special time in the community. So being received into the community and professing vows, that's where you see my black monastic habit that I'm wearing. That's where you get the long scapular, a new name, and you sign your petition formula that you're going to vow for 3 years.
3 years. Okay, now, it is, do they vote on you?
And they vote on you in chapter.
You were lambda here.
Correct.
Is it kind of like being voted on in a fraternity?
It probably is. In some ways, I think a lot of the fraternity stuff, when I think back on it, I'm like, wow, they stole all of this from monastic life, minus the hazing and the drinking, probably. And amongst.
So because like the chapter room, but also they vote by dropping a ball in a box.
There's a white ball means yes, black ball no, and a red ball means I'm not sure, but it ends up kind of counting as a no anyway.
Does it?
You need a majority. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So yeah,
same as fraternity life.
Old school. Right? Sometimes when we're voting in chapter, which of course it's secret, sometimes I think, man, can't we do this with iPads? It would be so much more faster and efficient. But nope, we have everybody walk up to the front and put in their marble.
And Noah, do they get to see who votes on who?
No, you don't get to see what who votes, so it's all private. The person.
So you don't
goes
walk up
and
you hold up a red ball and you're like, ding.
Right, yeah. You just maybe how aggressively you throw it down.
Bounce it from 20 feet away and it like goes in the box.
Right. Well, no, since it's only the chapter members who would be those in solemn vows. So I professed then at that point vows for 3 years that I would live this way of life, stability, obedience, conversatio morum, for 3 years during that time. And so during that 3 years, I got a little bit more responsibility in terms of work. I was teaching English as a second language to the seminarians. I worked as our director of admissions in the seminary college. And I was also the assistant master of ceremonies with liturgies in the church. So, and they kind of gradually introduce more jobs and different things and see how you do with the. But it's good because it comes down to what are the gifts of the individual, because we have a community, many diverse members, many different gifts, some more outgoing than others. But then it also comes to what are the needs of the community. And the abbot is the spiritual father who makes those assignments.
Whoa. Okay, so then novice, and then you get a new name when you're a postulant?
Well, in simple vows, when you make first vows.
Okay, what's a postulant?
Postulant's, I guess, pre-novice.
Okay, that's like 6 months.
Right, after the person's...
After like 3 months, they're like, no, get this guy out of here. Right. Like, I'm sorry, we didn't renew your contract.
Right.
And so novice
So it's kind of pre-novice is postulant. I kind of glossed over that.
That's where they wear like black pants and a white shirt.
Right, for entrance. But all the monks in the community will wear at least the tunic, but then it's like you get additional parts the longer you stay, and more accessories.
It's like Mr. Potato Head.
I don't know how on earth that came to your mind, but that's great.
I thought of like Mr. Potato Head getting like things put on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then you take 3 years, and then you take final vows.
then final vows. I mean, you can extend simple vows, and really at the end of those 3 years, you're free to leave as well, because that's the extent of your commitment. But then final vows, solemn vows. And were you there for my solemn vows? I can't remember.
I was not.
Okay.
I think
you
I was
were
on
there
30,
for my diaconate ordination, I know.
Jared Tommy and I think he had a wedding, and I was on my 30-day silent retreat. There was something that like both prevented us.
Oh, we'll check the photos. We'll see if you were there.
I don't think I was. Isn't that when they put that giant carpet over the top of you?
It's not a carpet. It's a funeral pall. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful ceremony. You put the monk is really giving of himself completely to the community and to Christ, and so they put the funeral pall over you, symbolic of the death to self, and then also. They ring the bell that we only ring when a monk dies. So
what?
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. So my mom and dad are there in the Basilica Church. They're crying. It's a very powerful.
Your dad cried?
Well, at least my mom did. My dad was like, "Oh, he's not going to cost me any more money."
Good riddance.
Right? Yes.
And
Finally.
your brothers were there.
Brothers were there, and my sisters-in-law. So it was a beautiful experience. And those kind of ceremonies, I guess it's like the monk's equivalent of a wedding. It's a big day. You're uniting yourself in a commitment and in front of the church. So a lot of friends were there.
You're uniting in a commitment. I'm going to grow in greater relationship with Jesus and his church,
right.
Deeper intimacy with the Father and the Holy Spirit in this divine life through this community, praying the liturgy, the hours 5 times a day.
Right, exactly.
Getting up and going to bed and being obedient to this monastery and staying there forever, except when you get to come home on home visits.
And hang out and do radio shows.
What do your parents think about this?
Parents at first were not too keen on the idea. They were nervous. I find that a lot of parents, I've also served as vocation director most recently for 6 years. Sometimes parents can be the ones that aren't too supportive of the kids' vocation, but they warmed up to it. They had to get to know the monks. They had to understand a little bit of the life, and they had to get to know the community. And then they're so supportive, and it's really wonderful.
Wow. What about people who live on other planets? Do you take androids, humanoids?
I think on the application you have to be human.
You have to be a human.
Yeah.
Okay. And there is men and women.
Men and women communities. We have a community of sisters 2 miles down the road, so we serve them, take care of them for Mass. They have a beautiful chapel, nice community, and there's but Benedictines, throughout the world, varying sizes of communities and also varying apostolates, work and things that they do. We have a printery house, printeryhouse.org, so we have greeting cards that we print, and there's a whole variety of things that we do. So
okay, give the people the good web address, because they can watch Mass online. They can also pray with the monks.
Yeah, if you go to www.conceptionabbey.org, that's our main website. We're also on Facebook and post a lot of different things. We live stream our liturgies, and also just can look about us or come for a retreat sometime.
Yeah, can people come up there and like just go on a retreat? Like right now, are you guys closed down or open?
Right now, we're closed down, but hopefully we'll open again, I think. But hospitality is a big thing for Benedictines, so we have guest house that people can come and stay and get some quiet. People like the quiet, the beautiful grounds, and the silence. Yeah,
I remember going up, like I went from 6 years in the military to moving across the country twice, running away from Jesus and his call to be a priest. He was probably like, "No, you're not ready. Go over there. Right. Stay far away from me as possible." No, and when I remember going to Conception Abbey and my very first days there, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I actually said the words as I walked up the stairs as not St. Joe, what is the other one? St.
Michael's Hall.
I walked up to St. Michael and looked to Stanbury, and I said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because it's just barren out there.
It is.
And then I just grew in love of monastic life. Now, could I be a monk? Go ahead,
Probably not.
Probably not.
It would drive the other 55 of us crazy.
They cheered when I left. They're like, Wakulich, gone. Okay, but some people are called to monastic life, and you and I were both studying to be priests in the Diocese of Tulsa, and then, the Lord called you and said, I want you to be a monk. And I'm going to say this publicly. Father Paul Scheller has done an incredible job being a monk at a monastery. He has really been a great witness to me that a person, a young man with a joyful personality who loves Jesus can also serve in a monastery and give their life permanently to the monastery.
It's a great life and great blessing.
Well, that's the end of our show. Again, welcome to Pastors of Pain. You can find Father Paul Scheller at
ConceptionAbbey.org.
ConceptionAbbey.org. Pray for him. Pray for me. Pray for Father O'Brien. Remember, come visit us here in Stillwater. Tune in and watch us in Mass. Peace.